Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a leader stats system and a weightlifting system. Alright, the first thing you want to do is to add a script into a service. You can name the script whatever you want. I'm going to name it leader stats because it's going to be where the leader stats are going to be taking place. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is type game.players.playerAdded connect function and then player. I'm going to explain how all this works afterwards. Then you're going to add a leaders this instance.new folder, and then leader stats.name equals to leader stats. Make sure you have it typed out like this or it will not work. Leader stats.parent equals to the player. Then we're going to add a strength value. Alright, and it's going to be instance.new int value strength.name equals to strength.value equals to 0, and strength.parent equals to leader stats. Alright, so how this works. When the player is added, it will give, this function will give this variable the name of the player and the instance of the player. And then this right here, the local leader stats equals instance new folder, basically adds a folder into the player that has all the values the player or you will need to use for the player. You have to name the leader stats like this, lowercase l, and then leader stats, and then you're going to put the parent to the player. Now, this is a local variable, so this variable is going to be, the parent of the variable is going to be the leader stats, the value is going to start off as 0, and the name is going to be strength. You can name whatever you want. It doesn't have to be just strength, but this has to be the same. This doesn't. Okay? If you start off the game, you should see in the top right leader stats with one variable. You're able to add as many as you want, and that's how you do it. Next, you're going to want to add a tool into the starter pack. You can name the tool whatever you want. I'm going to name it weight. And then you're going to want to, if you want, you can customize the tool. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Just to let you know, anything that you make that you put in the tool, if it's a union or anything that you want the player to hold, you have to name it handle, or it will not work. And then you have to put it inside of the tool. Next, you're going to want to add a local script into that weight and say script.parent.activated equal connect function. And then you're going to want to say, sorry, first you're going to want to add local debounce equals to false, or true. False. Alright, when the tool is clicked, you're going to check if debounce equals to true, false, then it's going to play out the function. So, you're going to want to find the player, which would just be local player. You're able to get the player by saying, only in local script, you're able to get the player by saying game.players.localPlayer. Okay? Now, you're going to get the player, and then you're going to want to get the leader stats of that player. So you're going to find for styled leader stats, lowercase l, leader stats. Alright? Dot strength dot value equals to, you can just copy this over because I don't like typing that all out, value plus 1. And then it's going to, you're going to want to set debounce to true, and then you're going to want to wait the amount of time that you want the player not to be able to click. So I'm just going to do 0.5 seconds. And then you're able to put the debounce back to false. And if the debounce is true and they click it, you can print can not click. All right. Now, that is one of the easiest ways to do it. And if you press start, you should be able to see the player strength increasing, but when every 0.5 seconds because I'm clicking it. But every time that I'm not able to click, it will print cannot click. Now, let's go to current client, or current server, sorry. Check this player's values, leader stats.strength. You will see that this value is 0. That is because this script is being run by the local client, and you can't change values with a local client. You have to use the server. So what you're going to want to do is to add a remote event into the replicated storage, and you're going to say weight lifted. Sorry, weight lifted. Okay. Now, so this script that you have the leader stats in, I'm actually going to change the name to server control, because you're going to need to use this script for more than just the leader stats. So this, you're going to have to delete this. You actually can just take this right here, and you're going to want to leave the rest of this. So we're going to want to find this event in the replicated storage. So local event equals to game.replicatedStorage.weightLifted, and then you're going to want to call this event. So event dot fire server, and you're going to want to give, it gives the player, you're going to want, so yeah, just leave it at that. Now, in the server control, you're going to want to say game.replicatedStorage.weightLifted.onServerEvent connect function, and then the player, because it gives you the player, because you can't get the player any other way than a game.player added, or getting the player from an event. All right. The next thing you're going to want to do is just copy this. If you copy this back down from what you had before, that should work. All right. Let me explain this to you. So when this tool is clicked, it's going to check if the debounce is false. If it is false, it's going to set it to true, and it's going to fire this event. This event on the server is going to check if that event is fired. You're going to want to add a certain amount to the player's strength, because remember, you can't add values or change the server by a client side script. You have to use a server side script. So for server side script, it can either be in the workspace, the server script service. It just has to be not in the client, and you'll know that it's not in the client because the starter GUI, it can't be in the starter GUI, the starter pack, or the starter player. Those can only be local scripts or client side scripts. So now that you added this value, we're gonna go back to this script, and we're gonna wait another 5 seconds and then set the debounce to false. If the debounce is true and it's clicked, then it's going to print cannot click, and it's not going to fire the server. Alright, now this should work, and let's load in here. With this weight, when I click it, the strength goes up, just like before. But if we go to the server, we're currently on the server, we're going to click players, check on my player, go to the leader stats, click on the strength, and check the value, and now it's 1. And this is the easiest way to do this. There's multiple other ways on doing this. If you want, you can change this value to 5, and if you want to change it to 5, it'll change it by 5. It changes by the amount you want it to. And if you want any other videos on like a part 2 to this, I can continue making this. Really simple, and it's relatively useful in games that you want to make a weightlifting simulator and stuff like that. So leave it in the comments if you want more videos like this, a part 2, a part 3, if you want to make this a series where I teach you guys how to make a weightlifting simulator. I can definitely do that, and make sure you like and subscribe to see those. And thank you guys for watching. Peace out.